Time to call the May Elizabethton Board of Education meeting to order. At this time, if you would please join me by standing, and we'll have a moment of silence followed by the pledge to the flag led by Mr. Van Hise.
Please pause for a moment of silence. Thank you. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time, it's time to approve the consent and regular agenda. Can I get a motion to approve? Motion, and I'll take one of those as a second. And is there any discussion?
I would like, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to pull item I off the regular agenda due to the lack of 3 quotes. We haven't got those, haven't come in yet, so we can pull that off and save that for a later meeting.
Okay, any questions about that? It's on the last page, top of the last page, to pull that off the agenda. Any questions? Okay, the item again is to approve the consent and regular agenda with item I of the regular agenda being pulled off. All those in favor, please say aye. 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 Okay, and no opposed. It's now time for citizens to speak. We had no citizens asked to appear before the board. So we'll move on to special recognitions. We have a number of those. We appreciate you being here tonight. It's nice to recognize our students. We would ask, if at all possible, if you would stay until all the recognitions are done. Then we'll have a time where you'll be allowed to leave if you need to, and unless you want to stay for the whole board meeting. But again, if you can hang on until we do all the recognitions. So at this time, I will turn it over to Director Van Hise.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Colbert, I think will come up and get us started with the CTE recognitions.
Again, thank you for letting us do this, because obviously there's a lot of good stuff going on in CT at the high school. A couple of things that was not on the board agenda, but I'm just going to mention. EHS, for example, going back to the beginning of the school year, was 6th at the Appalachian Fair, and the number of high schools that got recognized with blue ribbons, money, etc. So there's usually about 12 or so high schools, 13 maybe, that participate in what goes on at the Appalachian Fair. A couple other things I'll point out. We had 6 CTE teachers that led regional professional development at West Ridge High School in October. So we have not just good students, but good teachers. I'll mention 2 others. 2 of our criminal justice teachers spoke at the Criminal Justice Association in Florida. I think they were at Daytona Beach, Florida, back in September. Another good example of good things going on. This is the first year we had the STEM Festival Lab actually looking the way it's supposed to look. 2.5 years of construction and other items to deal with. We had 80-ish, sorry, I don't know the exact number, but 80-ish students in the STEM lab who've gotten their Megatronics industry certifications this year. It's 46, I think, last semester. Don't know the exact number this semester. This is the first year we've had the Navy Cadet Corps program, sometimes called Junior ROTC. Technically, it's not, I don't think it's supposed to be called that just yet. There's a couple of hoops you have to jump through first, but we're getting closer. So I want to congratulate all the good things going on with their students and teachers alike. AV will be mentioned here a little bit later on, but I'll mention it right now. It's the first year we've even had the audio video production program of study. Still don't have a complete program to study, so students cannot select it for their elective focus just yet. Working on that. But this is the first year going up that we can do teaching as a profession can be an elective focus for students. Started a couple of years ago with level 1, level 2. Now we can actually say we offer all 3 courses, and Alex Campbell's doing that for us. I wanted to give you some episode numbers tonight, but we're still not done. Part of the reason is, I'll mention this, for local dual credit. We started something last year with MTSU, obviously down in Murfreesboro, to do a local dual credit for aviation, but we've never had a kid that wanted to go to MTSU yet until this year. So today, for example, we had one young man took 2 tests today, and he has another one to take tomorrow. So I don't know all the results, but things are still, happened in these last few days of the school year. It's not officially over just yet. So there's some things I wanted to get out of the way, and there's a chance I was stalling because we maybe have a few kids driving around trying to find parking right now. Not that any student at the high school has ever been tardy to any school-wide event ever before. If only I knew some jokes, I would tell them, but I'm running out. Okay. Do we think we have the health science folks? Last one's here? Okay, the last one is here, so great. I'm going to turn it over now to Miss Katie Duggar, who's going to go over all the health science stuff. Thanks.
Good evening. It is my honor to recognize these young women who have been enrolled and completed nursing education this year. Through that class, they complete at least 60 classroom hours and 40 clinical hours that we do at Ivy Hall Nursing Home just down the road. And once they have completed that program, they are eligible to take their industry certification exam to become certified nursing assistants. So we have had 9 students this year. We are awaiting test results on 2 of them. The other 7 are already CNAs and are able to go work and gain that experience as they go on to further their education in healthcare. So as I call their name, if you guys will step up here and get your certificate. Ms. Cagney Bennett. Allison Deloach, I don't believe is here. Miss Kylie Evans. You guys may need to stand up here. Please, stay up here. Miss Rosie Granados. Morgan Gwynn. Dana Holsclaw, who couldn't be here either. Miss Hannah McDonald. Miss Isabella Izzy McQueen. And then Sarah Zimmerman, who is not here either.
If you're going by the agenda, I think next it says FBLA, but we're going to jump down to agriculture because I know Mahala's here. So, Mr. Agan, if you'll come up and say all the good things about Ms. Carr.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to be here, and there is just so many wonderful students that we could acknowledge tonight. You're going to see a lot of those tonight, but try to keep it short. Ms. Mahala Carr received her state FFA degree. In FFA, you have different levels of degrees, starting with the Green Hand degree, going to the chapter degree, the state degree, and then eventually the American degree. It's much like a Boy Scout, Eagle Scout project. Maybe you're familiar with that, but each level requires different levels of community service, hours put into her program, and even money that she's invested or earned. So Ms. Mahala, if you'll come up here up front. She received this award at state convention back in March. She also received a Farm Bureau scholarship to go to college. Stand right there in the middle. Let us look at you. She's going to be going to Northeast State this fall and hopefully to UT pursuing an ag business degree. So congratulations, Ms. Mahala.
Sorry for the sidebar conversation, but again, it's going still slightly out of order to give a couple kids extra couple minutes to get here. We'll move on down to the aviation portion of the people we need to recognize. Some of them date back to last year because we didn't do all these recognitions last year. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Mills and Mr. Edmonds.
All right, I'm going to talk slower, okay? You talk too fast. I can't keep up with you. All right, let me tell you how my day went. All right, I had 2 of these envelopes, okay? One was with some certificates. When I got here to pull them out to sign them, this is from my my colonoscopy. So, I don't think these guys want that, but all right. All right, that was a fun day, okay? The day before was even funner, okay. When you get old enough, you understand what that process is, okay? Yeah, it's just been a joy to be part of this great organization for the last 12 years. And I'm so thankful we have a phenomenal young man that's taken my place, and Will has just really stepped up the plate and is really relating well to the students. And they have me kind of on the semi-retirement plan. I don't know what's going to happen next year, but we'll see. Okay, after tonight, probably won't be around. Okay, so first of all, I just want to thank the board, for allowing us to come and share, and your guys and gals' support over the years. It's been phenomenal, and I think we've got one of the leading aviation high school programs in the country, and it's because the board has supported it and come up with money to buy us a simulator back in 2011, and we have about 2,600 hours that we put on that simulator. Sunday I got a call from the first solo student that I soloed, and he just got upgraded to captain, flying for the airlines, and he was excited. Garrett Church was his name. So we're making a real difference, and so many of our programs at the high school are really making a difference in kids' lives, and that's what it's all about. Okay, so thank you for it. So we'll go through this, and again, we had 3 students that soloed last year, and the first one we'd like to recognize is Caleb Tipton. Caleb, if you come up and just form a line here, okay? The second one is Clayton Meredith, and Clayton is actually working at the airport and had to work at the airport tonight, so he wasn't able to come. But he's actually not only soloed, he's got his he's got his private pilot's license that he's achieved, and he's working on his instrument rating right now. So Clayton is doing a great job. Holston Howard. So this was our class of 2021 that had soloed. And then this year, we had the privilege of soloing our first young lady from Elizabethton High School. And as I thought about it, it was really the first girl that I have actually soloed in my whole career of 50 years or whatever. And so Emma Riddle Garland, if you'd come up. So she's a celebrity in her own right. And each of these students have done a phenomenal job. The next one we just soloed out on the 3rd of this month was Jay Blake Stewart. And the last one that I soloed out, Trenton Taylor. Come on up here, Trenton. Trenton, of course, has been to the state championship for 3 years. And I knew the weather. I was flying with Blake and with Trenton on the same day, and I knew the weather was forecast to get windy, and so we tried to start early. Well, I think both of these guys were brain dead on that day because it took them a lot longer for me to get up the courage to get out of the airplane. And so I got out with Blake. He did a great job, and then the winds were still pretty calm, and it was Trenton's turn, so we flew quite a while. And then I got out of the airplane, and before I got out, I said, okay, Trenton, we're at the state championship game. It's the 4th quarter. We're ahead by 5. The other team has the ball on the 1-yard line. Okay, there's 3 seconds left. They got one play. You can't let him score. You can't let him pass. You're the man that's got to get him. You got to sack him. Okay, and so I related something that he's very used to, the pressures to going up and fly. So I got out of the airplane, and he took off, came around and landed. Everything was great. So I talked with him, as I always do, after the first landing. I was walking back to the airport, the FBO, and I got about halfway back and looked at the flag, and the flag had switched directions, and the sock on top of the hanger was flopping back and forth. And I said, oh, no. And so this is a second pattern by himself, okay? So I ran back to the airport, got on the radio, and said, okay, Trenton, you're going to have to change runways, and you're going to have to switch around and land on runway 24 down the valley instead of up the valley. And I said, the winds are gusting pretty good, so let's go ahead and land with half flaps instead of full flaps. So he landed, got on the ground, and I saw him kind of flopping around down there a little bit on the runway. And I said, just keep it straight, you know. And I said, take the power off. And then so he landed, and I said, okay, that's great. Now we'll finish this on another day. But that's the first time in about 50 years that I've had that experience. So again, I was praying during that. So, Brent, thanks so much for getting that quarterback. The last student we'd like to recognize is Carter Davidson. And Carter is a unique individual. And both Carter and Emma are just juniors. Okay, so they soloed in their junior year, and Carter's working on his private pilot license now, right? Okay, so that's the students that we have. You want to take a picture? All right, I just have a couple more people I'd like to introduce. The aviation program at Elizabethton is like I said, it's a phenomenal program. I think not only in what the students learn because they get access to the full motion simulator, and when we bought that in 2011, we were the first high school in the country to have a full motion simulator. And so it has really paid off. But we have other individuals in the room that we've invited tonight that are part of that. And the first ones I'd like to introduce are retired Lieutenant Colonel Bill Poway. Now, Bill's not here. He's part of the Flight Foundation. And what his foundation does, every dollar that the students put in, he matches that. Okay? So he's paying 50% of these students' flight costs. And so that's a phenomenal amount of money that his organization is putting in. The next people I'd like to introduce is John and Steve Brummett. If you guys would stand, John and Steve. John and Steve own the aircraft that we use. Now the aircraft, just like theirs out at the airport, cost about $150 an hour to fly. These guys give it to the Elizabethton High School students for their discovery flight for $20 an hour. Now, the student pays half of that, Bill Poway pays half of that. Okay? And then when they fly it they get 3 hours in the 3 advanced courses, they get to actually fly left seat for $10. If they were at the airport, it'd be $200, and they get it for $10. Okay, because of these two gentlemen here. And their dad is the one that started this program with the aircraft, and his desire was to try to keep young men and women off of drugs and alcohol. It wasn't to produce pilots. It was to try to give them some incentive to stay off of drugs and alcohol. So they actually, each pilot student that works on their solo and private and instrument, they'll sign a statement to say they will stay off of all drugs, alcohol, tobacco products, including vapor, while they're high school students. Okay. Because we see as adults how critical that is for these young men and women to make that commitment. So thank you again, guys, for making that possible. The next person I'd like to recognize is retired Navy pilot, and he retired as a commander, Brad Hardy. Brad, would you mind standing? Brad. Brad came to speak at the high school in another class, but he was out of the Navy, and so he came and talked in our class. And after seeing our program, he was so impressed that he said, "I want to give a scholarship of $5,000." So he wrote us a check for $5,000 to help these students. So these are the type of people that we have, you know, not even from Elizabethton, they're from Mountain City, that have seen what's going on and want to be part of it. The last one, I'm sorry for taking so long, but this is so critical. Dan Cogan, the airport manager, he's had many of our students that he's hired out there, and he's not able to be with us, but I asked him if he'd write just 2 paragraphs here of what he thinks of our students. He said, "The Elizabethton Airport benefits greatly from the Elizabethton High School Aviation Program. Over the last decade, the airport has employed dozens of young people that are graduates of the Elizabethton Aviation Program. Consistently, these people show up with a high level of knowledge and understanding of aviation industry. The Elizabethton High School students generally have a focus, drive, maturity, and sense of purpose far superior to their peers in the area. This is a direct reflection on the quality of instruction and leadership at the Elizabethton Aviation Program and the Elizabethton School District as a whole. So again, we're making a difference. So, thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Mills, that right there, those are certificates. So if the Brummets, if you wouldn't care to come up, and Mr. Hardy, those are certificates for them, and we'll get a picture.
Okay.
Not one for a colonoscopy.
No, it is not.
Fly Navy.
Thanks, guys.
I'm going to steal just a second of time if that's all right. I want to echo everything that Mr. Mills said, your support, the support of these here, but we wouldn't have the program that we have if it wasn't for him. So if he will come up, we have something for you too. Yes, yes, we do. No. So these kids, this is what the program is about, is these kids. And they absolutely love Mr. Mills, and I have gigantic shoes to fill and a wonderful program. So it's a good problem to have, but I do have that problem. We have something for you here. They have something for you. Just a quick token. All right. Everybody signed it.
You can't scare me. I'm going to see if I I don't know. Thank you.
Thank you.
And again, I would echo what Mr. Mills said about how good our aviation program is. Obviously, I work with all the other CTE directors across the state, and I do realize what Mr. Mills was talking about, saying that sometimes I do talk too fast. Anyway, I can watch 60 minutes in half an hour. All right. But in talking to the other CTE directors across the state, again, the hardest thing to do is to find instructors. That's it. Schools can help with money, schools can help with different things, but finding people willing to come and do this, because obviously pilots can make a lot more than they make in the classroom. So that's where we stand, because we have had a good teacher and have a good teacher is why we are as successful as we are. Okay, moving on. Again, I'm holding off on the last couple, making sure a couple of kids are here. Let me mention now work ethic distinction, and I'll go over this. Hamlin County started this several years ago. Now it is statewide, so from Mountain City to Memphis. If you hear work ethic diploma, it's now called work ethic distinction. And what it is, you have to come up with a series of points. And they're based on attendance, tardiness, discipline, grade point average, a drug-free standard, which students can get drug tested on their own. Obviously, the school system is not in that business of making students be drug tested, but all kinds of CTE coursework, competitions for CTE, dual enrollment, getting industry certifications, and so forth. Now, what happens? Niswonger, luckily, keeps up with all this. All I have to do is enter into a website, and they keep up with it. So the students that get this are guaranteed a job interview for something they're qualified for. If you're not, if you're wanting to be an engineer, but you don't have that certification yet, then you just can't go interview for that job. But if you are, and a company has that open, and they advertise that they work with the state on work ethic distinction and work ethic diplomas, and these students will be guaranteed a job seemingly forever, because Niswonger is going to keep up with all this data long after I'm gone and so forth. We only had 2 kids at the high school did it this year because they upped the points. We had several kids in the past get this. This year, only 2 kids actually were able to come up with all the points for this, and we've already gave them certificate at Honors Day. I thought we're doing it tonight. We did it on Honors Day, but I would like for at least to recognize them. So if Cagney Bennett would come up, there you are, and Lucy Maupin. Is Lucy here? No. Hey, Cagney, you're by yourself. Great. So right now you only have one in front of you, but there were two that did this year. So yeah, I'd like to recognize Miss Cagney Bennett for her hard work in all these areas I mentioned a while ago. So congratulations, Cagney. Okay, now, hope we have everybody here. Miss Wilbur, I guess we're ready now finally to go back to the top of the lineup and let you recognize all the business students. Thanks.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to recognize these students. I've got two groups to present certificates to for recognition. My first group is students that participated in Career Quest. It's all about business, and they placed in various competitions. These students they wrote business plans in class, and then they also did online job interviews with business professionals. So I have one group of Sam Bowers and Dylan McDuffie. They placed second place in the business battle, which is a Shark Tank competition where they had to give a pitch for their business, and they actually sat and answered questions from sharks. So Sam and Dylan. And then also in that same competition, Owen Wampler was recognized for excellence in the job interview. My second group of students are, oh, sorry, you can. My second group of students are students that placed at the FBLA State Leadership Conference in Chattanooga in April. FBLA is Future Business Leaders of America. And our students, to compete, they took objective tests, production tests, and some even did where they presented their ideas. So there's a few of these. So David Crowder, he was a finalist in the social media strategies at FBLA State. And then his partner was Corey Buchanan. Is Corey here? Okay. Then we had Skylar Fair, who placed 8th in computer problem solving. I don't believe Skylar's here tonight. George Dennis placed 6th in computer problem solving as well. George? Nope. Michelle Worley placed 7th in business communications. Elizabeth Underhill placed 5th in broadcast journalism. No, she's not here. Along with Ethan Horton, who was her partner in the presentation, he placed 5th in broadcast journalism. Carice Dickinson placed 3rd in publication design. She also qualified for nationals for FBLA. Ava George Wilbur placed 2nd in computer applications and also qualified for nationals. Reese Stonebreaker placed 3rd in agribusiness and also qualified for nationals. Don't think she's here. Owen Wampler placed 5th in business communications. He qualified for nationals, and he will be representing Elizabethton High School in Chicago this summer at the national conference. Hayden Colbert placed 5th in cybersecurity, and he also qualified for nationals, and he will be attending the national conference and representing Elizabethton High School in Chicago. And then finally, Holden Roten. I don't believe Holden's here. He placed 4th. Where is he? Is he here? Okay, he placed 4th in computer game and simulation programming. He qualified for nationals, and he will also be attending the national conference. Thank you.
I don't see Mr. Profit unless Okay, I'll do audio video production. Again, we started that program this year, and that class has already reaped some benefits. Luckily, we have one student that already wants to do this as his major at ETSU. And ironically, ETSU had a contest a few months ago, and we had some kids that actually wanted the high school division. They were wonderful. So actually, I'm going to let them come up. Jackson Clavier. Sorry to say, yeah, we didn't have room for him to sit down. Okay, he's here. Got it. Hayden Colbert. Legend Luttrell. There's Legend. There, yeah. They're out in the hall. Okay. And Adam Hughes. However, since these guys are in audio video production, Mr. Clavier, can I ask you to do the kind of honors you did at the high school earlier this year and describe this contest, or would you rather me do it?
I can do it.
Take off.
We would rather him.
So we showed up Friday morning. They gave us a list of 3 things we had to have in a short film. We had to have a line of dialogue, that's not how I would do it. We had to have a location, a piece of art in Johnson City, and a prop, which is a number 2 pencil. We had 52 hours to make a film, basically. And there was a screening, and we ended up winning 2 awards for it. So.
And also, I'll mention this because several of you I know have already seen it. If you haven't seen it, it is on YouTube now. It is Jackson Clavier Productions. Did I say that correctly? Do you want to spell it for anybody that can't spell Clavier?
Just take a guess at it. It'll probably pop up. C-L-A-V-I-E-R.
And obviously, they've made actually a second film. It is great as well. It's the same group of guys. Actually, a little bit of extra help on the second one. So they're already off and running with perhaps a new career with this. So, guys, obviously, I'm a big fan. So, congratulations. Okay. And last was criminal justice. And again, Ryan Harden and Kenny Presnell. Said that backwards, didn't I? Ryan Presnell and Kenny Harden, neither one are here. Mr. Hawley is here. Do you want to describe the CSI competition? Because there's a whole group of guys. So if you want to, how many CSI folks are here? We can speed this up if you want. Oh, uh-oh. We're out investigating. I'll let Mr. Hawley describe this.
All right. Before I start that, I do share a room with Mr. Edmonds where the flight lab is. And I figured I'd seen enough Top Gun and I could pull this off. And with a matter of seconds, I'm on the runway. I park it in the hangar, upside downward. And a nice young student looks at me and says, Mr. Hawley, you're supposed to do that after you land, not when you take off. And so I really respect those guys to be able to do that. I couldn't do it on a computer. CSI, I'm new. This is my first year teaching at Elizabethton High School. I'd heard of the CSI program. If y'all don't know what they do, we do it at TCAT. There's various different things they do. They do everything from field sobriety tests to a traffic stop to fingerprinting to searching for evidence out in the field to glass break to blood splatters. I mean, everything that would go into everyday investigating of a crime scene. And honestly, going into it, I didn't know what to expect, but I was tremendously impressed. I mean, being on the other side as an attorney and seeing what those guys, getting the data from that kind of work, but never seeing it happen, it was an eye-opening experience for me. So Coach Harden and Coach Preston do a fantastic job with that group of people. Several of them, wish they were here, several of them won first place. And then the team as a total won first place against, I think there was, if I remember correctly, 12 or 13 other schools. And so that was an impressive accomplishment by them to do that. So I know they're not here, but we'll give them a round of applause anyway.
If I'm not mistaken, we have concluded then the CTE portion of the recognitions. Thank you for letting us, but obviously you see why we asked for this time, because we do have a lot of students and teachers who worked very hard and done a lot of good things. So we're very proud of them, and thank you for letting us recognize them here tonight. Thanks.
All right, you get to hear from me again. How lucky. All right, one of my other things that I do, was asked to do this year, and was fortunate enough to do, is something I do know a little bit about. and that's playing golf. And so I was asked to coach the middle school golf team, not knowing what was to be expected from that. I was pleasantly surprised with the athletes that we have. So at this time, we'll ask them to come up, then I'm going to talk about them for a minute. So if you're with the T.A. Duggar golf team, if you don't care to come up here and make yourself known there. All right, both of these teams, the boys and girls, had a fantastic season. The boys finished 7-1, and the girls can rub it in. They finished 8-0 on the regular season. Both the boys and the girls teams qualified for regions. For y'all that don't know, regions is sort of their state championship. That's as far as you can go. The boys finished second at the districts over at Tri-Cities Golf Club. Colton Killian, an 8th grader, he shot 42 on the day, which is extremely impressive. The girls can rub it in yet again. They finished first. At districts, the medalist that day, the first place winner was 8th grader Sophia McKinn. She shot a 46. And so both those teams qualified for regions, which was played at Dandridge Country Club down in Dandridge, Tennessee. It was a 2-day, 18-hole grueling contest that they got through. It was probably the hottest 2 days of the year, but they played fantastic. And so I'm super proud of them, their hard work. For those of you all that do spring sports, you know that it starts out probably the coldest sport ever into the hottest sport ever once you finish. So their ability to adjust and adapt, and sometimes on the cold days we ate chili cheese fries, but we were together anyway. I just want to recognize them each individually if I could. Our 8th graders are Sophia McKinn, Chloe Markland, Olivia Fields, Tucker Taylor, Colton Killian, Braxton Avery, Xander Jones, Cruz Stout, and Eli Van Hoy. And our 7th graders are Callie Mosley, Phoebe Holly, Kinsley Carter, Gage Stout, and Evan Peters. And our 6th graders, and if I got your grades wrong, y'all can tell me later. 6th graders are Molly Ledford, Caroline Morgenstern, Clara Grace Rowe, Chloe Rocket, and Abby Cannon. I'm super proud of this group of people, this group of athletes. So if we give them another round of applause, I'd appreciate it.
Coach Witten.
I want to thank the school board for allowing me to be here today and our program to be on display. Thank you, Mr. Renhouse. I'm going to ask Bryson to come on up. I first want to read a letter that was written on Bryson's behalf to the TWA. Bryson was named a finalist for Mr. Football Award in 2019 that describes Bryson. It is an esteemed honor and privilege that I write a recommendation on Bryson's behalf. Bryson Rollins is a remarkable student athlete, a powerful individual, exemplary leader, and a dependable teammate. As a student athlete, he has done a great job of being a role model for our school and our community. Bryson Rollins is what I would consider to be a program changer, outshining his peers with multiple degrees by standing cut above his peers. His duties, responsibilities are carried out in the highest manner of diligence. He is well trained, extremely prepared, and he uses his expertise. His presence on the field directly relates to his ability to command and lead others. He gets results from his teammates and demands their respect. He exhibits toughness, influencing his teammates to improve their preparation and performance. He wants his peers and teammates to succeed, and his loyalty for them never falters. Bryson's leadership and work ethic, without question, is the most important on and off the field. It is not the amount of touchdowns you throw or rush for on Friday night, but his position judges a wide range of challenges. We have witnessed many examples of and endured Bryson's ability to display discipline, communication, ability to work under pressure, exhibit leadership skills. In the toughest moments in the game of life, Bryson Rollins embodies the characteristic of our strong and prideful community, school, and football program. A couple things I'd like to mention about Bryson. Everyone knows our success over the last 5 years in our program, but I'm going to ask Tony to Bryson's senior class is 52-4. They won 17, participated in 17 playoff games. Bryson's record as a starting quarterback was 42-2. 2019 to 2020 state champion, 2021 runner-up. He's a two-time Mr. Football finalist, 2019 state most valuable player. He's got over 10,000 total yards that placed him ninth in the state history of football, 144 total touchdowns, which leaves him second in the state history. He was the WCYB and WJHL Player of the Year for a total 3 years. His completion percentage was 65%. Bryson carried the ball a total of 610 carries in his 3 years. He had 4 straight wins over Science Hill. He was 5-2 versus Greenville. And his last game against Greenville, he carried the ball 40 times for us to win that game. A couple things I'd like to add. Bryson was raised by a great family. He's the most humbled athlete I've ever been around. He truly cares about his teammates. He's also the most competitive athlete I've ever been around. The only statistic that matters to him the most is the wins and the losses. I will tell you this, that Bryson is a very private person. He really doesn't want this recognition tonight. I know that he would be the first to tell you that he is only here because he had a great supporting cast. He had great teammates that supported him, that surrounded him. And your best players have to be your hardest workers. And there's no doubt that nobody knows the work that Bryson put in behind closed doors. So it is my honor on behalf of the Lisbon City School System that Bryson's jersey is going to be enshrined into the trophy case. Bryson also carries a 3.6 GPA, and he would be attending Maryville College in the fall, which he would go on to break records like this. Football in this town is a big deal. We average about 75 players in our football program. Many of us attend a lot of those games. But I can tell you that Bryson is definitely a role model for so many. And it's been an honor. I would not be here today as a Lisbon High School football coach if it wasn't for this guy right here. He has made me look really, really good in a lot of ways, and I'm super proud of him. And I want to thank his family, thank his teammates, thank his very small supporting cast that he has around him that's not very big, that stays in his ear. But Bryson's a great young man, and just couldn't really be more proud of him. But first state championship in 81 years, first undefeated season in over 50 years, and just a lot of great games we've played in this year. But I'll end with this. It's easy to go accept the state championship trophy in 2019 and 2020 when you win it. And when we lost in double overtime, I looked at some of the team captains to try to see who was going to go get the silver trophy, which none of us wanted it. But it's easy to go accept an award when you win. But Bryson put the team on his back and accepted the award when we lost. And I think that's the most proudest moment I think I've ever been for Bryson. So please give Bryson a round of applause and ask his family and come on up and get a picture.
Y'all, family, come on up. Get your picture made.
I know some
whether you like it or not.
I know some of his teammates are here, but TJ Little is one of his best friends. Parker Hughes is one of his best friends. He's got a great mom, great dad, great grandfather. His other Coach Moore, Coach Turner, has been in a small group that's kind of helped him along the way. I know he's got McDuffie, Sam, and those guys blocked for him for a long time. Trenton here, has done a great job, but just wanted to introduce some of the people that have been around him for a long time.
If I can, I will say the best compliment I could give him is that you remind me of him. So I'll just say that. That's the highest compliment I can give you. At this time, this is where you get to make a tough decision. If you want to stay for the rest of the meeting, we will welcome you that. But if you need to leave, you're free to go, and we'll take a minute or two, and then we'll continue.
Yeah, he's back there.
Aren't y'all staying? I thought y'all stay and support.
Stay right there.
And I don't think Mike's here. Zimmerman.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, we are.
That's a reference. That's the item number right there. That's the agenda item.
Mayor.
Okay. Same thing we did last time. We'll do that. I think I'm gonna do that.
Just tell me when to
After
just
I
point
do-
at me and tell me to read.
Yeah, and so after the director's report, when board members reports.
Okay.
You ready?
Is Darren back there?
Just call out Mark. Say, Mark, if you'll be quiet. Say, Jamie brings you fried candy. You ain't supposed to talk.
Don't need to gather again to start. Okay, at this time, we'll move on. It's time for the director's update. I'll turn it over to Mr. Van Huss.
Thank you again, Mr. Pless. Again, just what a great evening to recognize the students and their accomplishments, as well as the stakeholders that we have in the community, and the level of support that we have from all these different community members is quite amazing, and it's one of the things that makes Elizabethton such a special place. I want to thanks to everyone who's participated in the various end-of-year programs and recognitions we've had throughout the system this spring. Multiple honors days, there have been top 10% banquets, school graduations, student performances, just to name a few. And please don't forget about the culmination event, really, for the school system will take place this Saturday 9 a.m. In the stadium, Citizens Bank Stadium on the campus of the high school. We'll graduate an incredible group of young men and women, so looking forward to that. And remember, there will be a reception at 8 o'clock in the media center for board members. So hope to see you there at 8. We're closing in on the completion of another jam-packed school year, and there's been so many positive things that have gone on. Even tonight was just a sliver of that. We're going to have some more information for you in June of some things we want to report out on our ESSER funds, the use of those, and some of the results that we're seeing thus far in that. I think that's important for you and the community to hear. Again, we're just very, very proud of the effort, the faculty, staff. We talk about it all the time. It sounds like a broken record, but just their commitment and their resilience to push through the last 2 years is nothing short of a miracle, and we're just so blessed again to have all these individuals that put their heart and soul into the students of this community. And again, just makes it just a very, very special place. I wanted to mention one thing that you may notice on the consent agenda, and it was the rejection of bids we received for the baseball hitting facility. That came in well over budget. As you know, the construction market right now is very, very challenging for many ways. So thank you for your vote there to reject that bid. We only had one bidder, and so we're going to continue to look and study that project and see what else we can do there to try to make that a reality in the future. The summer learning camps are also scheduled to start on Tuesday, May 31st. That will last 4 weeks as it did last year. It'll be 4 days a week. Tremendous gains we saw from the students from the program last year, and we're looking forward to the same results this year. We have a phenomenal group of teachers that, again, even though they're tired, they're willing to step up and do this work in the summer, so we appreciate that as well. So those camps will take place at Westside Elementary and at T.A. Duggar Junior High School. And, of course, we'll still have our summer ESP program, and that will be at Harold McCormick this year as well. So that's all that I have for my report today.
All right. Thank you. Any board member have any reports? Yes.
I would like to. This year I've got to attend a lot of the end of the year things, and I just wanted to, the top 10% banquet that we went to, I wanted to, whomever did the decorations, I know it was a group effort, but it was just absolutely beautiful. And the culinary department at the high school, the meal was amazing.
Yes.
They did a great job, and the speaker was very inspirational. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And then I got to sing with the T.A. Duggar Choral Club, and Miss Price did such an amazing job. And when those students sang, you could see the love. I mean, they were all in it. But I wanted to say also that Penny Hampton stood in the back with me, and she was like a proud mother. When those kids were singing, there was tears in her eyes, and she was so proud of those students. And it takes a village. You know, we take for granted a lot of people that work there, you know, but it honestly, from the custodians to the school secretary to the bookkeepers to, you know, everybody in the building does a great job. And then Honors Day, I go every year because my mom has an award, but honestly, it's so organized and so professional. From the moment you walk in, you know exactly where you're going. There's no question about where you're supposed to stand or anything. And then the senior tea at Harold McCormick, I used to do the senior tea, so I know what that is to take on and on top of your job. And all the people that are doing all these things are also doing their full-time jobs. So that's a feat in itself. But I know that each elementary school that recognizes seniors, they feel like they're coming home when they go to the senior tea. And I just want to applaud everybody for doing such a great job. And everybody that has worked so hard this year, the final countdown. So they need to, I pray that they have a relaxing and much deserved summer break.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, time for the city council liaison report, and I think maybe they're on a board retreat or something like that, so Mr. Shimley's not here this evening. And again, Miss Maggie, student liaison report.
I would just like to say thank you on behalf of all the students for the great year we've had. We've gotten to do a lot more this year, and we love going to all the events and everything, and Thank you to all the staff that put on Honors Day and the top 10%. We are so appreciative of all of our hard work being recognized. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations to you as you took a wheelbarrow full of rewards or awards home the other day. So I look forward to seeing your time there at UT. Now, will next month be your last
Yes, I believe so.
meeting? Okay. All right. Make sure you're here.
We'll have
okay.
to party, not because
Well,
she's leaving.
right, we'll have to party.
We'll celebrate. We'll celebrate Maggie.
Okay. It's time for the regular agenda, and prior to that, I know that 4 members have a statement we need to read because of things that will be, especially item 9B, agenda item 9B. I declare that my wife is an employee in the school system as a teacher, but that any vote I cast on issues that might have an effect upon the employment of my wife is made in the best interest of the school system. The matters to be addressed in this board meeting about which I make this declaration are the following, and that is agenda item 9B. Bill?
I declare that my wife and daughter are employed in the school system as school nutrition program coordinator and social worker, but that any vote I cast on issues that might have an effect upon the employment of my wife and daughter are made in the best interest of the school system. The matters to be addressed in this board meeting about which I make this declaration are the following. Agenda item 9B.
Eddie, you'll have to hold this for me. I can't get my
Okay.
Let's have my glasses. I declare that my wife, brother-in-law, sister, and nephew are all employed in the school system as teachers, but that any vote I cast on issues that might have an effect upon employment of my wife, brother-in-law, sister, and nephew are made in the best interest of the school system. The matters to be addressed in this board meeting about which I make this decision are the following. Agenda item 9B.
I declare that my sister is employed in the school system as a teacher, but that any vote I cast on issues that might have an effect upon the employment of my sister is made in the best interest of the school system. The matters to be addressed in this board meeting about which I make this declaration are the following. Agenda item 9B.
Okay, thank you. So we'll move on. First item on the agenda. Approve permission for the board chair to negotiate a new employment contract with the director of schools, Richard Van Huss. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
So move, and a second?
Second.
Okay, again, discussion, it will simply be to look at his contract, which has 1 year left, and to look at the items on the contract. Then I would bring that back to the board, and it would be in those extra items at the end, and we hope to present that during the June meeting. So, any questions or comments? Okay, the item is to approve permission for the board chair to negotiate a new employment contract with Director of Schools, Richard Van Huss. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And there are none. Next item is item 9B, to approve the Elizabethton City School fiscal year 2022-2023 budget. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Okay, and a second?
Second.
Second, all right. Mr. Van Huss, anything you want to?
Sure. So just a few things I'd like to point out. First of all, we're proud to announce that this budget has employment at raises for every employee in the system. Those vary on different levels based on what those roles are. I can tell you that the BS 0 salary step for teachers will increase from $38,200 to $40,500. And if you look at that BS 0 over the last 2 years, it's right at a 10% increase for our staff. And again, when that number changes based on our pay scales, that flows through the entire scale. So again, everyone will realize a pay increase from that. And again, that includes pay raises for every single employee in the system. I will also tell you that for the classified staff, especially at the school level, Ms. Wilson worked very, very hard on this budget. One thing she worked very hard was to try to help us find ways to attract and retain employees in those positions. And so we've taken, most of those scales have 7 steps on them. We've shrunk those down to 5, raised beginning pay, and even step 5 is still a significant increase if someone worked for us on the current scale and made it to step 7. So they'll start out making more,
and continue to make more at a faster rate than what the current scale is. So that's something we're very, very proud of. It's well in excess of $1.2 million that we're spending on salary increases this year. That's how important that we feel like that is. When we talk about, it's all about people and how hard they've worked, and we want to recognize that. And so now's the opportunity for us to put our money where our mouth is. So that's a big component of this. Let me see if there's anything else. You can see there's some items, especially if you look on page 2 of the document. We'll continue to pay 100% of individual dental and life insurance premium for full-time employees. The board will pay 100% of individual medical insurance premiums for full-time employees electing the standard, limited, and CDHP options. The other options, there are other options that employees can pay into to have a little increased coverage. But again, we're very, very proud of the opportunity that we have to recognize, again, the hard work of our people. So that's the biggest bulk of this budget when you look at it as far as from an increase standpoint is toward recognizing the hard work of our employees. Okay. Any questions for me that I can direct to Ms. Wilson?
Mm-hmm. Okay. The item is to approve Elizabethton City School fiscal year 2022-2023 budget. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. And any opposed? There are none. Next item, approve purchase of Train HVAC equipment for Harold McCormick Elementary School in the amount of $353,174 to be paid for using ESSER 2.0 funds. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
And a second?
Second.
Second, all right.
So as you know, this is a big part of our ESSER $3 is going toward the renovation and upgrades at Harold McCormick Elementary School. Again, as I mentioned with the heating facility, there are some real challenges right now in the construction market. We're all seeing it at home ourselves. We're looking at fuel costs, and this cost of materials and things like that continues to go up. So it's a very volatile time to be trying to do any type of construction. But what I will tell you is that the reason this item is on here is these prices will increase 15 to 20% within just the next couple of weeks. So what we would like to do is purchase these Train HVAC units, rooftop units, for an expansion there, or to switch over from the 2-pipe system that we have at Harold McCormick to these rooftop units in each classroom. Mr. Isaacs and I were talking the other day, and he brought up a good point. Not too many years ago, the system invested in a new boiler there at Harold McCormick, and it's a tremendous piece of equipment. And so the good news is, even once we're able to do the renovations at Harold McCormick, it won't be the entire building, so they'll continue to use that. But as we continue to do the phases and we work our way to rooftop units, we would take that boiler that we put at Harold McCormick and we would replace one of the aging boilers at Elizabethton High School. So I'm glad that he mentioned all that, because that's a key point, that this will help us at 2 locations eventually. Harold McCormick upgrades, and then to be able to upgrade that boiler there at the high school. So again, it's for 15 different units. This has been competitively bid. We're purchasing this through U.S. Communities, which again has gone through the bid process. And again, we're using ESSER funds for that. So anyone have specific questions for me on that?
Why did it take so long? I burned up in a
We waited for you to leave before we.
That must have been it.
And when's the ESSER 2 funds have to be spent?
These have to be spent by summer of 2023.
Okay.
And so we'll have these, and what we'll do with these units, we will store these units, and there's like about a 4 to 5 month lead time to get the equipment anyway.
Okay.
And so we'll continue to work on the renovation, the rest of the drawings, and the design of that. And the tentative plan is to look at trying to bid something out on that in maybe September or October. We're going to try to avoid the summer months, because there again the construction industry is just overwhelmed right now with all the requests. So we're hoping that if we wait a few months, get through the summer push, that we'll get a better response when we put that bid out for solicitation.
All right. Any other comments or questions? Okay, item is to approve the purchase of train HVAC equipment for Harold McCormick Elementary School in the amount of $353,174 to be paid for using ESSER 2.0 funds. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? There are none. Next item, approve 3-year contract with Apara to provide device monitoring and safety software beginning July 1st, 2022 in the amount of $66,864 to be paid for with Best for All District grant funds. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
And a second?
Second.
A second, okay.
So I think I may have mentioned this software before, but basically this will be software that will be installed on our Chromebooks and devices in the system. And this would allow a teacher, if their students are using Chromebooks in class, they could monitor what sites they're going to. They can lock down certain sites. But it's really some amazing software, and they actually allowed the high school to do a pilot with this a couple of months ago. And so it's gone extremely well. Internet safety is obviously a concern that we all have, especially when they're on campus and in our buildings. And the high school staff, they could tell you stories about kids maybe trying to go to sites where there's to play a game or something like that. They don't even try it now because they know they'll just get shut down. So it really helps students stay focused, stay on task, and so we're excited about the opportunity to put this added safety feature in there. Again, this is being paid for out of Best for All District grant funds. We received a $200,000 grant, and that's where part of this, all of this will be paid for out of that grant.
Okay. All right, anything else? Items to approve a 3-year contract with Apara to provide device monitoring and safety software beginning July 1st, 2022 in the amount of $66,864 to be paid for with Best for All District grant funds. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. And any opposed? And there are none. Next items to approve contract with Summers Taylor Incorporated to construct an additional parking area for Eastside Elementary School at a cost of $248,979. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
And a second?
Second.
Okay.
Okay, so this item is something that we put out for bid a few weeks ago and received this bid back from Summers Taylor. The original bid amount was a little over $330,000. We just felt like that was a little beyond our budget, so we looked at trying to value engineer some things back out of the project. Summers Taylor, they were gracious enough to work with us and get that back down to an amount that we felt comfortable with. This adds approximately 50 parking spaces to the front of Eastside Elementary School. Currently, there are not enough parking spaces on campus for all of the employees, much less visitors that may be there, parents. I think this also has the potential to help with pickup and drop-off backups that we have there on Siam Road. That's, all 3 of our elementary schools are community schools, and so traffic flow is a concern. Luckily, they really have it down to a science. The congested times are relatively small. Other than, sometimes people get there like really early to pick their kids up in the afternoon, but we're still working on that. But however, this will be a huge improvement to the campus there. And I know that Mr. Hurley is very excited about the possibility of this. So he may pick a new designated parking spot.
Is it something they can do this summer when school's out? Or?
Yes, so they'll plan to start as soon as the board, if you so approve this, they'll get started very, very soon.
Okay. Yes, it definitely has been needed, so.
I think the length of the scope of work is about 45 days. However, they have asked for us to be understanding because of materials and things like that. They're the same thing we've been talking about a lot of time in this meeting. So we're certainly going to be respectful of that. Again, Summers Taylor, long history with Elizabethton, and so we're excited about the quality of – product that we're going to get based on their expertise.
Okay. All right, The item is to approve contract with Summers Taylor Incorporated to construct an additional parking area for Eastside Elementary School at a cost of $248,979. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. And any opposed? And there are none. Next item, approve a contract between Elizabethton City Schools and Physical Therapy Services PA for physical therapy and occupational therapy from August 1, 2022 through July 31, 2023. Contract is renewable for 4 years. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
And a second?
Second.
Okay. So,
So obviously it's, our hearts are still heavy, certainly, of the passing of Dr. Danny Smith and all that he's meant to our community and our school system. And one of the last things Dr. Smith did before he left for Maryland is he brought a copy of this contract by, and if you look at the one, it's actually signed by Danny. But there's no rate increase in this. I don't need to tell you about the level of service that we've received from physical therapy services over the years. And, I think it's a testament to him and the entire staff that they have, and, again, just the level of services they're able to provide is second to none. So I would appreciate your consideration of this item.
okay. So the item is to approve contract between Elizabethton City Schools and Physical Therapy Services PA for physical therapy and occupational therapy from August 1st, 2022 through July 31, 2023. Contract is renewable for 4 years. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. And any opposed? And there are none. Next item, approve a contract between Elizabethton City Schools and Deborah L. Curley Communication Consultants, LLC, Sidekick Therapy Partners for the 2022-2023 school year. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
And a second.
Second.
Okay.
We partnered with Curley Communication and Consultants a few years ago. Now it's known as Sidekick Therapy, to assist us with some speech and language services for students. And the good part about this is it allows the speech and language pathologists that we have employed by the school system, it allows us, it's basically just an extra set of hands to assist us with all the services that are required. The good thing about this particular contract, they typically work with individuals that they can bill insurance, similar to what Physical Therapy Services does. And so typically there's really not any charge to the system for their services. They have stepped in and helped us. We had one speech and language pathologist that was out this year for a medical reason, and they were able to step in and provide those services for us. So it's great to have them working with our students, as well as being there in case we have a situation like that where we need some extra support. So they've been fantastic. Again, no rate changes from the contract we've had in the past.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Okay, items to approve a contract between Elizabethton City Schools and Deborah L. Curley Communication Consultants, LLC, Sidekick Therapy Partners for the 2022-2023 school year. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. And any opposed? All right, motion carries. Last regular item, approve awarding RFP 2022-2023 lawn for lawn maintenance services to GNR Lawn Care for the fiscal year of July 1, 2022 through June 30, 2023 in the annual amount of $92,595. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion and a second.
Second.
Second. All right.
Okay, so in your packet there, you'll notice that we had 3 compliant bidders for these services for the school system, and GNR Lawn Care was the lowest compliant bidder. I can tell you that in the interim period we've had, GNR has actually been doing the lawn care for us for the last month and a half, 2 months, and it's been fantastic. Eric Shepard, who's actually here, has done a fantastic job. Seen him out mowing in downpours, you know, rain or shine. He's like the post office. He's doing it. It doesn't matter about the weather. So we certainly don't want you mowing if there's lightning. So, but he's done a great job getting things up. You know, it's always a challenge when you first start mowing at the beginning of the year, getting things back in shape. But I would encourage you to go around and look at the campuses. I think you'll be pleased with the way they look. So we're excited about GNR and Mr. Shepard and partnering with us to provide these services.
Good deal. Any comments or questions? How about that? So the item is to approve awarding RFP 2022-2023 lawn for lawn maintenance services to GNR Lawn Care for the fiscal year of July 1, 2022 through June 30, 2023 in the annual amount of $92,595. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. And any opposed? And there are none. Congratulations and thank you for your service. Okay. The last item we removed, item I, so the only thing left to mention is the next regularly scheduled board meeting will be held on the 16th day of June 2022 at 5:30 here in the Mac Pierce Boardroom. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn. Have a nice night. Thank you.